Morning, everybody, and lovely to see you all in the flesh again. I just wanted to bring this to mind. The Battle of Lone Pine was fought from 6th of 9th of August in 1915 on a heavily fortified plateau in the Gallipoli Peninsula, upon which stood a solitary pine tree. It was intended to create a diversion for the British landing in Suvla Bay, and the battle left between 5,000 and 6,000 Turkish soldiers dead and 2,277 Australian soldiers dead. In September, men of the Australian 23rd and 24th Battalions arrived fighting on alternate days. From the ruins of the battle, Sergeant Keith McDowell picked up a pine cone from where the tree had once stood and carried it back home to Australia. Thomas Keith McDowell enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force, the AIF, in Wonthaggi, Victoria, on 14th of January 1915. The 25-year-old private was appointed to the 23rd Battalion and embarked from Melbourne on the Euripides in May 1915. After 17 weeks at Gallipoli, he served in France, and he was evacuated from France to England, suffering tuberculosis and renal colic. On his return to Australia in September 1916, he enlisted in the 3rd Military District Guard, obtaining the rank of sergeant before a tuberculosis relapse saw him discharged permanently unfit. He collected 3 service medals, the 1915 Star, the British War Medal and the Victory Medal. On his return, McDowell gave the pine cone to Mrs. Emma Gray, the aunt of McDowell's wife Iris. Born in Tower Hill in 1870, Emma Gray ran a general store in Grasmere with her husband Robert, and after about 10 years, she successfully grew 4 pine trees from the cone that was brought back from Gallipoli. One seedling was dedicated in Burwood's Wattle Park, the home ground of the 24th Battalion, on the 7th of May 1933. A second was dedicated on the 24th at Melbourne's Shrine of Remembrance on the 11th of June 1933, and a third was planted at the Sisters Memorial Hall on the 18th of June 1933 on a block owned by Emma Watson's son. The fourth was planted in Warrnambool's Botanic Gardens with a dedication service in January 1934. The story of the lone pine, Pinus brutia, that grows in the Warrnambool Botanic Gardens has become a legend. That pine cone travelled with Thomas McDowell right across the globe, right throughout the war, and unlike many of our young Australian men that did not return, it made its way back to Australia and became a living memorial to the sacrifice of the Anzacs. And now, we're fortunate today that I've received 4 seedlings from the Friends of Warrnambool's Botanic Gardens from the original lone pine of Gallipoli for Club Menangle to plant, so that we too will have a magnificent living reminder of the sacrifice Australians have paid for freedom. Many years from now, when you and I have passed, these pines will stand as a reminder to future generations. And it is significant as we commemorate Wsbey Day today to recall the support that Club Menangle has given us. On these very grounds, over 100 years ago, hundreds of light horsemen and camel corps were trained here in this very spot. Hundreds of AIF men trained here for the trip overseas to an unknown destination and an unknown future. My great-grandfather, Frederick Cave Wsbey, was a trooper, and he trained here too. The club, understanding the history and heritage, has worked with us to ensure that those days are not forgotten. With the Wsbey Museum, which if you haven't already seen, you must have a tour through after today to have a look at what Trevor from Strictly Limited has put together. The honour roll to the fallen and the fountain. They've also fostered our wish to create the historical troupe and have continued to support it financially, and together we've created this day, an annual day of remembrance. On behalf of the 7th Light Horse Regiment AIF Menangle Historical Troupe, I'd like to dedicate these seedlings to Club Menangle. And I pray that they succeed and flourish, and that these beautiful surroundings that the club has will give us a gentle reminder of the fact that we must always be prepared for sacrifice if we truly believe freedom, and we truly do believe in freedom from tyranny, lest we forget.